Hey fellow assassins, what's up? It's Robbie with Overworld Games, and we are talking about Assassin's Creed Unity. We've got some brand new news about prisons, and then we've got 2 new interviews, as well as a cosplayer showing off his cosplay of Arno. You're definitely going to want to stay tuned for that, because it's one of the best cosplays I have ever seen, so stay tuned to the end of the video. But we have new side content being added to Assassin's Creed Unity. It seems like all of the time we've got the single player story and then the co-op experience. But they go into details about street murders. You can find the article in the description below if you want the full details from TotalXbox.com, and then also creative director Alexander Amancio. But he goes on to say, with street murders, you find corpses and you work with Eugene Francos Vidal. I don't know if I got that right. I'm going to try to get that one right. But he goes on to say, he's sort of the father of the French modern criminology. You can put people in jail. You can accuse and interrogate people. You can accuse the wrong person. You might go to the jail and find that it's all filled with innocent people. By the end of the game, it's all done through investigation and exploration. I had no idea that you can actually go to the jail physically in the open world and see all the prisoners you have imprisoned. That is so different. I hope you can interact with them throughout the game. It'd be cool if you were experiencing the game and you were facing off against a big villain and then you eventually imprisoned him. And then you were able to keep revisiting him throughout the game. That is really different. Let me know what you guys want to see from this game. Also, it's not clear whether or not you can have people guillotined at this prison, but it would be pretty consistent with the story. This era is also known as Reign of Terror. I mean, there were thousands and thousands of innocent people beheaded during a course of only a few years. So it was a pretty terrible time to live in. It was like just one of the worst time periods you could live in, and one of the worst places, of course. But other side missions include treasure hunts created by Nostradamus, who was a 16th century prophet who's said to have seen the rise of Napoleon, which, by the way, he will be making an appearance in the game in some form. We will be meeting Napoleon in Assassin's Creed Unity. So this new treasure hunt is a lot like Red Dead Redemption when you found the maps. You are guided to locations based on the scenery, so they're going to take you to a clock tower, and then you have to think in your mind, where is that clock tower? Then you go to the clock tower, look around, search for the clues, and then you move on to the next location. So it's sort of like breadcrumbs, and it always relates to a famous person in this time period. So they're really tying the story down to your environment and the side activities, which I love. This is one thing I really hope works really well in Assassin's Creed Unity. I feel like story is being missed out big time in a lot of overworld games. Recently, I'm looking at you, Destiny, but it seems like Assassin's Creed Unity is doing it right. So there you have it, prisons and treasure hunts in Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, time to move on to the brand new interviews and the new cosplay. Guys, you're going to want to see this. Here we go.
Hi, Alex. So the first question is from Betty Page. Why did you choose the French Revolution, and how does it fit into the timeline of the series?
All right, we chose the French Revolution because when we began working on Unity, it was always meant to be the first fully next generation iteration of Assassin's Creed. And we were looking to go back to the roots, you know, like a densely packed, large, sprawling European city. We looked at many of them, and Paris obviously was on the top of the list. It's gorgeous, it's full of monuments, full of history. So we chose Paris, and then we looked at the different timelines of Paris, and we were looking for times where we could have massive crowds, because this is part of the innovation that we wanted to have in this rebirth of the series. And so the French Revolution, again, came up very quickly. So, Paris, French Revolution, that's how it all came together.
Next question from Evil Squall. Why is it called Unity and not Assassin's Creed 5?
That's a good question. I mean, it's a choice. Again, because this is a rebirth, we wanted to get rid of the numbers. We didn't want it to be, it's the number 5, right? It's not an increment of anything else. This is a new beginning, and the new beginning is called Assassin's Creed Unity.
Question is from Demonized. What are the biggest challenges about creating a huge open world based on actual architecture?
It's actually a huge challenge, especially because for us, history is really important and accuracy is extremely important. I mean, not only for visuals, but even for the story. You know, we have historians that analyze our script to make sure that we respect the period that we're treating, right, in a specific game. So what we did for architecture is we went to Paris twice. We had a guided tour from, guides from the Louvre. We actually also spoke with historians. We went to several museums. We had access to old city plans. So, I mean, we from the information that we had, we were able to construct a very accurate Paris. Now, is it exactly how it was? Of course not, because we don't have all the details of every building. But it is the closest thing to history that we could actually make from all of the information that we had.
And the next question is from Brain Eater Vin. How big is the open world of Unity and how does co-op come in? Can you join a game at any time or is that different campaign?
A lot of questions. All right. Unity is actually quite large. The city of Paris is bigger. If you take all of Black Flag's landmass and you clump it all together, it's actually smaller than the city of Paris. Not only is it a big city, but it's also scaled 1-to-1. So for the first time, we actually have the buildings that are full scale. Notre Dame is actual scale. This is why everything looks very, amazingly big in the game. So the city is massive, and then the way that you actually find different stuff to do is also different than other games. Typically, Assassin's Creed is about one linear story that happens across an open world. We really wanted to change this. So the way we really structured it is Paris is full of opportunities. You have Arno's redemption quest, which is the linear set of missions that make up the main path. Then you have 11 different locations along the map that we call the Brotherhood missions. These are missions that are playable from 1 to 4 players. As soon as we unlock Paris, all of them are unlocked, but they're rated with a star system. So some of them are more challenging, and you can try one at the beginning, but you might lose. But you can still try and find innovative ways of solving it. So this is what the co-op means, right? Co-op is stuff that you can take part in the city at any time, and you can join a game in progress. You can actually start playing and have friends join you. And one really cool thing that we have is whenever you have a friend that's actually playing Unity in one of the co-op missions, if you go to any bar in the city, you actually see his Arno sitting down at the bar, and by just approaching the character and pressing A, you can automatically join. You can still do it through the menus, but we just really felt that having this contextual visual cue in the game was really cool. It helped to give it more realism.
Next question is from Eggpound. Will we see Robespierre, the madman of the French Revolution?
Yes, Robespierre is definitely featured in the game.
The next question from O'Fresh O, Prince O. Will there be any French-based dialogues with subtitles in the game?
Yes. Obviously, the cinematics are always localized to the language that you understand, but all of the crowd life in Paris is going to be in French.
Another question from Quatre. In a co-op game, do all players see themselves as Arno, or do we choose from different characters?
All characters see themselves as Arno. And the reason we went with this is, previously in the franchise, the main player motivation was narrative. So you were completing the story, and which sort of plays against the concept of an open world game, because if you're doing the story and everything is always very urgent, and then it's very difficult for players to feel comfortable in stopping that and doing side stuff for like a while. So we really wanted to change the player's motivation, and we went with something different. We went with player progression. So your main motivation for playing Unity is Arno's progression, Arno's journey from novice to master assassin. So everything you do in the actual game world contributes to this progression, whether it's the single player, whether it's any of the co-op missions, or any of the hundreds of different side quests and missions and stories and quests that you can find by exploring Paris. Everything gives you either money to buy equipment, skill points to get skills, all of that stuff, right? So because Arno's progression is such an important thing, having more than one character would split that progression and create a game that is not as unified as we are aiming for. So the twist we have is that everybody always plays Arno, and when you're playing a co-op mission, what actually happens is all your friends, we keep their unique gear, because we still want you to be able to see the unique gear of your friends, because we want you to be able to ask them, where did you get this really cool sword or hood or whatever. But we replace their face with just a database of generic assassins' faces. From their perspective, they are playing Arno, they see themselves as Arno, they see you as another assassin.
Next question from Idiodup. Will we see Napoleon in the game?
Napoleon will certainly be in the game. It's a young Napoleon. You know, the Napoleon of the French Revolution is, I think, in his 20s, and he's a very ambitious general already.
Are you being able to investigate your target like in the first Assassin's Creed game so you can prepare your strike very carefully?
All right, so we did change our approach in terms of assassinations in Unity. There's more assassinations in Unity than in previous games, especially recent games, okay? And we give more time to each target to really make sure that the player understands who this target is, understands a little bit of the background. So every sequence is really structured around each of the targets. So it will give you more exposition. And then when you actually get to kill that target, every mission, the last mission in the sequence, the mission where you actually get to assassinate your target, is what we call a black box mission. It's a open-ended 360-degree mission where you can actually choose your own unique playstyle and approach to kill the target, which I think is really satisfactory after you get to meet the character, that target for the whole sequence. To actually get to perform the assassination the way you want to do it is a big reward.
Well, thanks. That's it for the Uplay.
Hey there, Assassins. One of your community developers, Gabe Graziani, on Assassin's Creed Unity here with a whole new set of video Q&As. We're really excited to bring this feature back, where we take your questions from the internet and then I answer them on camera for you. This time we're probably going to have some devs involved and stuff like that, but to begin, we chose 4 questions from our community. The first of them is from Megadoo on our forums, who asks, are skills automatically unlocked as long as you get the sync points, or do you have to buy them? This is a really good question because the way you choose your skills and the way you purchase your skills is actually one of the primary ways that you will set yourself apart and the primary ways that you define your gameplay style in Assassin's Creed Unity. So what you basically have is a skills menu that lists out all the skills and categorizes them based on stealth, combat, and navigation. What you will do is you'll choose which skills you want to specialize in first. Now you can choose skills from any of the different categories, but it's probably a good idea to specialize just a little bit so that you can maximize your abilities in either stealth, combat, or navigation. Another new feature we're adding to our video Q&As is a community section where we take a look at some community art. This time out, we're looking at Ai-san on Tumblr. You can find more of Ai-san's work in the video description down below, where we'll have a link to their Tumblr account. But for right now, why don't you just take a look at these gorgeous images of both Arno and his beloved Elise. That's all the time we've got for today, Assassins. See you next time.
Whole France is ill, and our city is a wound, inflamed by all efforts to heal. A king once ruled, headstrong and corrupt, now headless and a corpse, murdered by men just as vile. Today, fanatics from all sides spill blood on every corner. 1,000 terrors I mean to cure. Day by day, street by street, Templar by Templar.